already previously talked about Santa Claus, but I'm curious about the documentary, I Am Santa Claus. So what can you tell me about that?
I can tell you that it reminded me of the documentary being Beyond the Mat without bloodshed.
Right.
But it's the idea that, you know, the Santa, you think about it, and this was the director's premise, is he saw a Santa at a mall. And I think one of the misconceptions, like anyone can do it, that's not true. Like even a great movie like Elf has a really upscale mall, you know, and the Santa at the upscale mall he smells like beef and cheese, you know, like he's right away, Buddy the Elf knows it turns out Artie Lang with a really weak looking designer beard. And the truth is, upscale mall Santa look perfect. You know, the guy in the updated Miracle on 34th Street, you know, who's essentially Santa, you know, he's depicted to be a drunk, you know, his butt cheeks are showing, his beard is implied weekly, he later goes on to almost perform a hit on the real Santa. And it's like, no, the Macy's Santa is like the world champion. He would be like the Ric Flair of Santa,
right.
Like people would almost genuflect to him. And I think that's a misconception, is how much hard work goes into it, how much love people have for being Santa. And the guy wondered, what does this guy do the day after Christmas? And he only followed the real bearded Santas. Not that I have an issue with guys who use designer beards. It's all about the feeling you give the children.
Absolutely.
It reminds me of wrestling in that you have like the artists, you know, who can create the image of havoc and destruction without actually creating it, where I was the guy that needed to take a couple of shots just to remind me of who, you know, oh, that's right, I'm Cactus Jack. So I needed, like when I became Santa, like I needed that 6-hour bleaching. If I just put on a beard, I wouldn't have felt like I earned the right to wear that red suit. Even though I'd worn a red suit, but I'd always been Santa Mick. You know, it'd be like, okay, he's in Iraq, we know it's one of the guys, he's this big, huge, you know, ball of fur. Who is it? Oh, it's Mick Foley. And this was a chance to really, it was a little scary, it was a little trepidatious, which as we know is a good New York Times #1 bestseller author word for hesitant. But that's a lot of pressure.
Sure.
And the moment that I made the decision to actually bleach, you know, and I went through that painful process, when I woke up that next day, I didn't actually wake up and get any sleep at all, we just worked through the night. When I walked out that door and I saw that first kid, I was like, I am Santa Claus. And there's this like almost magic that comes over people. I don't know if they can maintain it working mall hours, you know, where you're taking breaks, but I know when I was in that room, I felt like the real guy, like that the spirit of St. Nicholas was present there with me. The director wondered what happens to those guys the day after Christmas, where you take guys who dedicate, you know, their life to that 1 month or 6 week period, and they go from being a person that people line up to see, and they climb up, you know, stairs to meet a man wearing regal robes, sitting on a throne, to being just another guy. And it reminded me so much of the wrestlers who will go from being, you know, in the stores with their action figures next to Spider-Man to putting pro wrestler on a you know, on a job resume. That's why that I could never be, you know, in a decision-making capacity for a wrestling company. Like I couldn't fire people. I couldn't let people know their dreams are, you know, that their dreams are done. But that's the way those guys feel, and I know those guys, you know, and it really connected with me. And so I kind of fell in love with the movie. I was just supposed to be a subject, and long after my scenes were shot, I was raising money to make sure the film was completed, and so I was made a producer of a wide-ranging, you know, it could be a wide-ranging array of roles, but in my case, like, I would actually call up and the director go, hey, I'm on Raw in Brooklyn, can I drive to Philadelphia after the show, can we work the entire night on editing? And he was like, afterwards, he's like, how can I say no?
Yeah.
And so that was, you know, I was there, you know, many nights, because I know from wrestling, like, the most powerful ways to say things. You know, if I see it on video, I say, cut there, this is why, this is what I think we need to get across. And I can honestly say that, you know, my views, which were always respected, you know, helped shape the film, and I think people are going to be surprised at how good a movie it is.
Yeah. Well, I know last night at your sold-out show, is the plural for Santa Claus Santa Clauses?
Yes.
Or Santa Claus? I don't know what you call them, but there was a handful of them in the audience.
Yeah.
They're very easy to spot.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's so great. Like that, it's such a supportive community as well. Of
It is.
Clauses.
There's also some infighting, some feuding. It reminds me so much of wrestling. I will say this: I don't want to give names, but as a lot of your viewers might know, you know, I've had going through a tough period with WWE, and WWE, because they're a publicly held company, publicly traded company, has to charge a movie for footage, and I thought they were asking too much, given that it was footage of me. So I went in and I showed it to one of the highest people, you know, the head of production, and he watched the movie. He watched 10 minutes, you know, the first scene. He was okay, I get it. He goes, this is a good movie. And I said, can I show you just this last scene? And we showed him the last scene. I look over, this is a guy who spends his life in TV production. He's seen and done everything. And he's wiping away tears. And I said, wow, I said, we weren't expecting that. He goes, I'm sorry, but I'm a father, and that's real. And it was like, the director and I both walked in. First of all, WWE made us a very fair deal. I'm very happy about that. We just were like, wow, that was pretty stunning. You know, we've got something here. And so it's not going to be a movie for everyone. Different Santas have their take on the portrayal, you know. And I remember the director telling me, he goes, you know, you guys have a lot of competition. You guys each try to put your stamp on a unique character. These are guys all trying to put their unique stamp on one iconic character, and a lot of them are convinced they've got it down best. So there's a lot of camaraderie, there's also a lot of competition, but I think the movie does a great job of following the lives of 6 people, you know, who, for whom portraying or becoming Santa Claus means a lot. And as you can tell, you know, it's really become a passion of mine.
Sure.
Know, to the point where
it works for you, though.
It might
like,
be a psychological problem.
Really?
No,
So?
it does work for me.
Yeah.
And I think I just use this 365-day challenge as an excuse to dress however I want.
I want to do it, and I'm Jewish. Like, I want to, like, be an elf every night.
And why? And I explained to you, your father is a Jewish Santa. And I said, there's a lot of good Jewish Santas. And the reason why, because one of the downsides of being Santa Claus is that the love you have for Christmas actually takes you away from your children during those important, you know, weeks, months, dates. You know, one of the best Santas of the biz has only spent Christmas Eve at home twice in his daughter's 25 years. And the Jewish Santa kind of takes away that problem instantly. Like, okay, I'm off. I'm going to put joy into some hearts, and it's not going to cost my own family a thing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
There's 8 days that are a little tricky, but besides that, you know,
yeah.
free game on everything else. So Dennis, you're a very charitable man, which, you know, you're very public about, and I think that's one of the things that
I
makes you
try not to be too
special.
public about it.
Well, I read a lot about your tweets about rain and your...
It's a balancing act, because you don't want to force things on people. And this is not that I'm trying to go into my Santa thing, but at one time I had a secondary account called Man Kindness, which is where I put all any kind of socially relevant or charitable things. And I thought, you know what, if it's important, I should really be getting out to the larger audience. I just won't go there very often. And then I made the other one my Santa account. So if anyone wants to see the different attire I've been wearing every day, you can go to, you know, @Foley is Santa. But I'm finding that when I do the occasional tweets about rain, that they're getting a lot of retweets. You know, that people, you know, slowly but surely people, they come and they understand that these things mean a lot to me, and hopefully I'm creating hope for certain events. But continue on.
Well, yeah, but you've learned about this charity through Tori Amos.
Through Tori Amos, yeah.
Yes, and you have chapters in your books about her, and because of you, I, you know, discovered the song Winter that we closed the show with last night, which was so much fun, and thank you for that opportunity. So I figure the only way to close this interview would be our spectacular Grammy Award-winning performance of Winter, if that's okay with you.
I will. Let me grab this as my microphone.
Okay.
This is not here as a
I
prop.
don't even know what this is.
And this is something I've done is at our shows. We won't give away the line that makes it funny.
Oh no.
But it reminds me of wrestling in a way that you work on creating tension and release, and so the idea that I conclude a story by singing an a cappella version of a very sensitive song, it's a little bit uncomfortable, and then we have the big release, but we're not going to give people that. We're just going to go into what would seem like an a cappella version until Heather joins me, and then she will take over, and she does a fine job. And if you can just imagine that I have just told a story, wrestling related, about playing a very imposing wrestler, asking what music I had used to motivate myself because I seemed to be entering a trance, and he hears 30 seconds of Tori Amos singing Winter. And then I close my eyes and I begin singing a cappella, which is it's highly unusual. And Heather's going to join me in. But nobody, I even looked out last night at one of the non-wrestling fans, and she was just staring, and I was like, you didn't call this one coming in, did you? Hey, yeah, well, wrestling, I wonder if you know an a cappella version of Tori Amos. When you gonna make up your mind? When you gonna love you as much as I do? When you gonna make up your mind? 'Cause
Things are gonna change so fast. All the white horses are still in bed. I tell you that I'll always want you near. You say that things change, my dear. You can buy our CD coming out. No, I'm just kidding. But thanks again so much.
And we'll never see this chart.
What is this?
There's no
That would have been like
rocket
the
in
perfect
there.
ending to this interview. But thanks again so much for this opportunity.
You did a great job.
Thank
I
you.
challenged you to come up with questions I don't usually hear. I've never ended with an a cappella version of the Tori Amos song.
Switching it up.
You did a great job, and now you are off to the Money in the Bank.
I'm heading to Money in the Bank.
My
yes.
kids are already on their way to Money in the Bank,
Oh,
and I'm
thank
gonna play Connect 4.
Well, maybe we'll meet you for a game after
All right.
the event. So
Deal.
once again, I'm Kid Cadet here. Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, Mick Foley, the man, the myth, the legend. Anything else you want to
Thanks for
plug?
your time. Just listen to the show. She does a great job. And had I not seen something in you, felt it, right? I see something in you. We had a long talk, and I said, this is what you need to do. Find out those questions. If you want those, I want you to succeed.
Thank you.
Okay? And I hope that this has been one small step on that long path of success.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yay. Got it.